following program may contain serious announcements for all audiences and may be offensive to you or someone you know. Never seen or watched or to listen to the broadcast. You agree that you and you alone are responsible for the media you intake. Also, you actively agree to waive all rights to take legal or other actions against the broadcast or any other individuals in the broadcast. This broadcast is meant for entertainment purposes only and not to be considered advised. It is up to you to do your own research, your own facts. Viewer discretion is advised.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the Talk Before You Run podcast. How many people in here like orange juice?
Not
Without
me.
the pulp.
With vodka.
Oh,
weirdos.
without the pulp? Yes, I'll chuck that whole bottle.
Well, so now, today, that's not what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about an OJ without a pulse, but, you know, that's beside the point. So, we are going to be talking about OJ Simpson. As some people may know, some people may not know, OJ Simpson passed away on April the 10th, 2024. Late on the 10th, I believe it was. Late that night. But, or was it the 10th or was it early? Because you said it happened like right after I got off.
It was the 10th.
Yeah,
I looked at
it was the 10th? Okay, I get confused on my days here, okay? So, on April 10th, 2024, for those of you, that's what we're going to be talking about today, because apparently there are some people in this world who don't know who O.J. Simpson is or was. That's is or was. I mean, depends on which way you look at it.
It's past tense at this point now because he's not going to do anything more with his life.
Well, close enough.
So you got to talk in the past tense version.
Well, speaking of the past tense, so O.J. Simpson, if you don't know him from the notorious trial, the notorious
Nicole
Ford Bronco thing, the Nicole thing, whichever way you want to mention it. Beforehand, the Bronco thing. Beforehand, before all this stuff happened and everything, O.J. Simpson used to be a NFL running back who spent 11 years in the league, 10 of them with the Buffalo Bills, and I do believe his final season he was with the San Francisco 49ers when all of this stuff took place. Like I said, we got to kind of get through all this stuff because, some people don't know who he is. Oh, waffle. So, okay, all right. But know who he is still... Knowing who he is a present tense thing, okay? Look.
Okay, agree.
Yeah, it's the knowing of who he is,
Yeah. So...
But when we're talking about him, it's was.
Unfortunately, because of everything that happened, all of his athletic achievements and everything and his fame was eclipsed by a trial in 1995 of him killing his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. Now, I put friend in quotations. Okay.
For good reason.
For good reason. And for those of you who don't know, the cause of O.J. Simpson's death was cancer, and at the age of 76 years old. So there's a lot of things that when you talk about O.J. Simpson, if people knew who he was, okay, is that better for y'all?
Yeah, you go.
Waffle goes is. If y'all knew who he was, of course, there's the whole, like I mentioned before, the Ford Bronco thing where he took, where did this happen at? Los Angeles, right? Or somewhere in that area? I know it was all kinds of stuff because that was one of the major things. At news stations all over the country were on this, from what I understand. I mean, of course, I wasn't alive at the time. It happened in 1994, so I mean, I was born in 99. Even though I still know who he was. Oh, Waffle. For those of you who haven't caught on yet, Waffle didn't know who O.J. Simpson was.
Is.
I'm about to lose it. But there's still
is marked out of there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, a lot of is a lot of was, a lot of who's, and a lot of what's. But it's neither here nor there. It's all hearsay at this point.
Nor there, here or there for Switch.
Yeah. So where were we at? Okay, so yeah, so the whole Ford Bronco thing, of course, everybody knows about that. Another thing that everybody knows, and Beaker mentioned a second ago, is the whole glove thing. If it fits, time to quit. Is that how it went?
No. Well, close, but if it does, wow, where'd it go? I had a window up.
While we wait for Switch to find his window, usually it's on a wall, but you know.
Right.
Oh,
There
yeah, I
ain't
was
no
about to say
telling.
mine's to the right.
Oh,
I got one in front of me, one to the right of me, and one behind me.
If it doesn't
Wow, look
fit,
at
you
you
must
fancy.
Okay, see, I was wrong because I said if it fits. So if it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
Because apparently that was gloves that was found at the scene that was supposedly used to commit the murder. Correct? Am I right on that? I believe so.
Something like that.
Which, of course, by the way, the gloves definitely did not fit that dude's big old meaty hands. AKA the fact that I think it... No, I thought they did.
No, they.
In this picture I'm looking at, they sure don't look like they fit his hands.
Well, I think there was two different. I don't know. I was 5 years old when this happened, so memory.
This picture I'm looking
don't
at, if he
remember.
was to make a fist, them gloves would explode.
I don't know. I saw the video. I'm looking at the video, and it looks like he's doing it. Fits pretty well. But then again, you know, everybody's definition of fit is different. You know.
So
Well,
what
to me,
he
if
means
gloves
to
fit,
say
that means
is
you
it
can move your
fits
hands
and
freely within them.
sits.
Yeah, he looks like he's having to like his hands are flat out, like his fingers are in the palm of that glove still. So like I feel like his hands are too long and too big to fit in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I
Which
mean,
would then means they didn't fit, so it'd definitely make it pretty hard for him to commit a murder if he can't close his fist. I mean, I'm just saying.
yeah. No, those are leather gloves, are they not?
Yes.
Okay. Regardless, you try to close your hands in those things when you're like folding half the glove in your palm. It doesn't. You're not gripping that correctly. It would pull up the bottom part of his glove, pretty much almost taking it off his hand as he closes because there's not enough leather to cover his or glove to cover his hand. I don't see somebody committing a murder with those. Those are way too. His hands are too big.
That's what she said.
I don't know what she's worried. Yeah, well, it kind of makes it when you sit there and try to close your hand and you can't even close it tight enough to grip anything. And even right here, the bottom half of that glove comes up as he closes his hand.
Besides, not only that, I think it... Okay, so there's theories behind, you know, whether or not he had somebody else do it, or like I said before we started this podcast, that his son was the one that did it. But, you know, that's neither here nor there either, because, you know, that's all speculation. But in other words, the jury had found him not guilty during this trial, and he was found not guilty. I believe it was like October 6th or October 8th, 1995. I know it was in October of 95, but they did find him not guilty. And of course, during the whole trial, there was a whole, you know, debacle about it being like racially motivated, and because he was rich, and you know, there was all kinds of stuff surrounding this trial that probably, well, I can't really say that it blew it up more than what it should have been, because I mean, you got a celebrity like this who just killed supposedly two people, you know, allegedly killed two people. It's gonna be a big thing. There's no way of hiding that, really. But the trial, I do believe, was televised.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. So it just kind of threw up a whole bunch of stuff. Now, there is one thing that will always get me that doesn't make no sense to me. So in 1997, okay, another jury unanimously deemed Simpson liable for the death of both of them, for the wrongful deaths, because he was sued in a civil lawsuit. that was brought on by Goldman's family. And he ended up having to pay out like $33.5 million in damages. So the one thing that, like I said, doesn't make sense to me, if he was found not guilty during the original trial, how was it that they were able to bring a civil lawsuit that did deem it, what would basically have deemed him guilty? Because if they're saying that he's liable for it, means in other words, it's his fault, and was ordered to pay $33.5 million. Somebody want to try to explain that one to me? Because that, to me, doesn't make sense.
Not a clue.
Because to me, you got to look at it like this. If you get into a car accident, okay, and somebody, T-bones you from the side, and of course, the police officer is going to go, all right, well, he ran a red light, you was going through a green light, they T-boned you, they're at 100% fault, and then they take you to court and you're deemed liable for it. Liability means, in other words, it would have been your fault, and they say that, okay, it was your fault. How does that make any sense? I don't see how you can find somebody not guilty but then find them liable only a couple years later. But, that's just me. Maybe there's something that I don't know. Now, if I did it, in the, would that still be quotation marks? What's the thing whenever you're quoting somebody else?
Quotation marks, yeah.
Yeah.
That is quotations? Okay.
Yeah.
So if I did it, quotation marks, because, that is the title of the book that he proceeded to write after the trial had ended. Okay. When he wrote this book, everybody looked at it as a confession.
I would too.
It, to me, I would think it was a confession too. I mean, that's just, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, because it's just, I don't know. Somebody else jump in here. Make comments on this.
You have enough details to sit there and write a book.
Well, you also got to remember all the details come out during the trial.
I'm saying, like, I'm sure somewhere in there he incriminated himself somehow, some way, by adding extra details. To write a book on if you did it. I mean, come on. Why would you even do that?
Smart
Where
move,
does it prove
Simpson.
you innocent? Does it just allows someone the mindset of, like, where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those slaps in the faces, like, you couldn't get me.
Yeah, like, it's just like, look, I'm flat out writing a whole book and you couldn't stop me. I do what I want, kind of thing. Which, in the sense, I mean,
It was very hard.
money talks, and you end up in situations like this. It's like your theory, okay, maybe it was, and he's covering up, but in the sense that, like, writing a book, I don't know, I wouldn't put myself in that situation to draw more attention to something that I just kind of got away with.
Well, see, the thing about it is you cannot be trialed for the same crime twice.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying.
And by writing that book, if he did do it, and if he did confess, I've never read the book, so I have no idea. Maybe that might be something that, the viewers at home would like to look up and see. Maybe if y'all like to read or something like that. We've done deduced over the last handful of episodes that I can't read, so, don't expect me to read this book. Y'all are about shit out of luck. Now, if they make a documentary in a couple years and they want to, go on about the book, if they haven't made a documentary already, then I'll go ahead and watch that. But
it's a mini-series,
yeah,
I believe.
Well, then maybe I might watch that, and then I can come back with some more information then. But I'm not reading a book. I'm sorry, it's just not happening.
I don't know for sure, but
Turn this into a talk before you run book club.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the running. Y'all can do the talking.
Fair enough. He does it all here on the podcast, so I'll take over the reading.
It was great.
Who knows? Maybe that might actually be something that we can come up with one of these days, like reading like little books or something. But
I've got
for now, we'll.
several.
I got a few Dr.
recommendations.
Seuss's.
Well, there you go.
Okay, hold up. One at a time. Switch, go.
I got several recommendations.
Oh, okay. Beaker, what'd you say?
I said I have a few Dr. Seuss books I can read. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, we'll just recommend books for now, and then one day we'll get Beaker in here reading Dr. Seuss books.
I might have
Maybe
some
we can
old.
label it that.
I might have some old Hooked on Phonics for you, Travis, if you want to read those.
I got a Dr. Seuss. I don't know what the hell a Hooked on Phonics is, but
it was an
Hooked on
educational thing
Phonics.
back in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah, it was Hooked on Phonics was like a learning thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I had mine on on computer. It was a CD, and you'd go in there and play little games,
Yeah.
or like the leapfrogs.
It was a reading
That's what Travis would be
reading pronunciation thing. They taught you mostly phonetics.
Yeah, phonics.
see, I screwed up whenever I flunked out of my special ed class in the second grade.
You flunked? Like you
And I didn't actually
dropped
flunk.
it?
I was actually in a special ed class in the second grade, though. Only for that 1 year, though. Only because apparently I couldn't write. It wasn't even because I couldn't read. I had
gotta
issues
admit,
writing, apparently.
I was one of those ones that was stuck in BMC, and for those that don't know, behavioral managed class. All throughout school. Like I said, I've said it many times. I was an angry kid, but damn, nobody ever gave me shit as much as they did my brother for failing kindergarten.
How do you fail kindergarten?
Was he quiet too? Because I got held back in kindergarten.
That's
No, it
true,
was
Switch.
pre-K.
You said that, too.
It was either pre-K or
so-
kindergarten, one of the two.
Yeah, but being
For
held
him,
back because you're quiet and failing is two completely different things.
I wasn't
so
failing.
He's partially deaf in one ear, so he wasn't being able to enunciate certain things, and so he's just stayed quiet. And yeah, so they were like, okay, he's not ready to go on to first grade. We're just gonna hold him back another
Yeah,
year.
that's the same thing
Or
that happened
this-
to you, Switch. He's just
Yeah,
shy. He's just shy boy.
So,
Like
AKA
me.
us. And even at that, we barely get very few to, not too many words.
Yeah. So, back on our, main topic. So, of course, like we said, O.J. Simpson got acquitted of the charges, was found not guilty, not acquitted. So he was found not guilty of the charges in 1995. Well, then he went ahead and did something stupid. So in 2007, O.J. Simpson got arrested for armed robbery in Las Vegas. And I do believe kidnapping was also part of that. I believe it was kidnapping and armed robbery in Las Vegas. And was sentenced to 33 years. Okay. Now, of course, he didn't serve 33 years, but we'll get to that here in just a second. My thing is with this is, you done got away with something once. What in the world made him think he can get away with it a second time? Also, not only top of that, I guess whenever you got to pay $33.5 million out, you get desperate after a while. So he did end up getting arrested in 2007 and sentenced to 33 years. And then eventually was granted parole in 2017. He told the Nevada Parole Board, he said, I've done my time. I've done it as well as respectfully as I can, or as well and as respectfully as I think anyone can. Being a good inmate to get out for parole, I just don't think is something that is I'm trying to think of what word to use. is a bragging point. Should I say? Correct?
Yes.
Gonna...
So yeah. I was just saying.
Y'all all zoned out on me? Is that what it is?
No, I'm muting so that it doesn't capture too much background. But no. Yeah, that's it's not too much of a. It's not a bragging point or like a something you want to bring up. You know.
And not only that, the part where he says, "I've done my time." You've done. You didn't. He did 9 years of a 33-year sentence. I don't think that's considered doing your time. I mean, of course, he got lucky with going up for parole, but of course,
maybe if he had done maybe 15, 18, minimum years.
I didn't know he got paroled.
Yeah, he got paroled in 2017.
Because I thought after, like, in 2018, when Obama was president, he asked Obama for a pardon.
No.
Hey,
now
President,
he
you're
was.
Black. I'm black. Let's just call it even.
That's what everybody was making a fuss about. That's I swear to God, I remember that.
Now, maybe released from parole, maybe the pardon, that was what it was. So he didn't get released from his parole until 2021. In 2021, he was fully released from his parole. He was 100% a free man at that point. And then, of course, here in 2024, he passes away of prostate cancer.
Well, see, I thought he was still in jail.
No.
It was very difficult to avoid all of his media way back when. But as I get older, I was able to oh, he's on again. Let's change the channel or something like that,
Yeah, well, back then you had to watch whatever your parents was watching. Now you can just walk out, go somewhere else.
Well, that and it was on every channel.
So also the full title of the book.
So
we only got the 3 channels.
Sorry, just to OJ did get out on parole supervision for the 2008 robbery.
He went back.
So he was. Yeah, so he was.
Baker's like 10 minutes behind on us. That's what we was talking about. That's what we were just talking about. That he was paroled in 2017.
Yeah.
But he was asking. But that's what I'm saying. He was saying he wasn't sure if it was paroled or pardoned.
Oh.
And for his Nevada robbery.
Oh. I don't know.
So going back to the book that he published, he published the book in 2007 under the title "If I Did It: Confessions of the Killer."
Mm-hmm.
After a judge awarded the rights to Goldman's family, with proceeds going towards the millions of dollars Simpsons has failed to pay in the civil judgment. So the money, basically, him writing that book, whatever money he made from that book, went to the Goldman's family.
Yeah. Okay.
It says similarly, and again, hypothetically, he said, describing the killings in detail in a 2006 interview meant to serve as a companion to the book, and then the interview was held for years before being aired in 2018. And it says here, and I remember I grabbed the knife. I do remember that portion. And to be honest, after that, I don't remember, except I'm standing there and there's all kinds of stuff around. And he said before the voice trailed off.
Okay, so he blacked out and murdered his ex-wife and her friend.
Quotation mark friend.
Whatever.
Friend
That's
with
what I'm
benefit?
getting.
What?
Was it a friend with benefits type thing?
That's allegedly quotation mark friend.
Gotcha.
That's what the quotation marks are for. Quotation mark friend. It was never truly. It never truly came out that they were having an affair, but it's always been suspected. I guess you could say.
Scandalous.
Which is where the whole his son part comes in. Or at least from what I heard. I mean, I don't know much about that. But from what I heard, the whole son part coming in because he caught his mom and so on and so forth. Allegedly.
Hmm.
We can still get sued for this, so we're still going to go out with allegedly.
The son, was that Justin Simpson?
That I don't know. I would assume, I think he only had one son.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I do know that on January 25th of 2024, he filed for a last will and testament with Cassidy Law Offices in Las Vegas with lawyer Malcolm Laverne. Yeah, I think that's Laverne. Was named the executor of his estate with his son, Justin Simpson, as his successor.
Okay, so right here, it says, then on June 13th, 1994, Brown, Simpson, 35, and Goldman, 25, were found stabbed to death after her dog led the neighbors to the bloody scene at her Brentwood, California home. Simpson, who flew to Chicago that night and checked into a hotel hours later for a promotional engagement, was an early suspect, in part due to his domestic violence charges. It says, then he returned to Los Angeles where the police handcuffed him and questioned him before his release within days. He was charged with Brown, Simpson's, and Goldman's killings. Says, despite an agreed upon plan to surrender to police, Simpson failed to turn himself in and vanished, only to reappear hours later in a white Ford Bronco driven by his friend, Al Crowling. By that time, Simpson's attorney had said he might be suicidal, which is where I guess the gun part comes in that Beaker was talking about a minute ago. It says helicopters followed overhead as police chased the Bronco in a low-speed pursuit, broadcast across the hectic Los Angeles area as Simpson reportedly held a gun to his head while the football legend surrendered to the police that same day. The chase, watched by some 95 million people, became a prelude to a larger-than-life trial to come. Are y'all expecting me to continue reading?
Nope.
I can.
Yeah.
We can keep going. Okay, so it was a blockbuster case. Simpson, who pled 100% not guilty, assembled a who's who of defense attorneys for the term that sought to raise doubts about how evidence was handled. Also, keep in mind, the Kardashian dad was one of the lawyers, one of the attorneys who represented O.J. Simpson, which also is the reason why they became famous. So if anybody hates the Kardashians, then know that it's O.J. Simpson's fault. If anything he should have been put to jail for, maybe even put to death for, should have been that.
I don't know who the Kardashians are either. So.
Bro, who the hell do you know?
Do you not watch MTV or
No.
VH1?
You ain't never heard of the sex tape between Ray J and Kim Kardashian?
The fuck? No. Again.
Oh my God.
I'm not into celebrities and their lives. That's
I don't
their
blame you.
problem.
Yeah, but I mean, even not being in their lives, Switch doesn't even have a Facebook page, and he knows who these people are.
Yeah, but he has Google. If he really wants to know, he could just Google them and find
You
out.
really
Switch
think he's
was
going
going
up the
on.
Kardashians?
Switch was there. It was happening
Well.
in real time for him.
Great.
Okay, so, skipping over the fact that Waffle doesn't know anybody famous. They also accused then Detective Mark Furman of racial bias, tapping into deep mistrust between the Los Angeles Police Department and the black community, inflamed just a few years earlier by the police beating a motorist, Rodney King. Furman testified he had not used the N-word in a decade, then pleaded no contest to pre-jury charges, and after retiring wrote a book casting himself as a victim of wider cultural problems. It says the Simpsons prosecution, led by Marcia Clark and Chris Darden, So these people got just, I don't like these names. Zeroed in on the domestic abuse and DNA evidence, including that of a bloody glove found at the crime scene that matched another of Simpson's property. At Simpson's property. It says the trial reached a zenith when Darden asked Simpson to put on the gloves. Simpson struggled, and the defense attorney, Johnny Cochran, which was the main defense guy, if you don't know who that is, used the moment to boil the case down. If it does not fit, you must acquit, which is the term that we were talking about in the beginning. It says reactions to the not guilty verdict was largely split along racial lines. At the time, 92% of white people surveyed believed him guilty, while 66% of African Americans believed him not guilty. A CNN and Time magazine poll showed. Additionally, 65% of African Americans believed Simpson had been framed. Okay, how many of these people you think, whenever he wrote that book and released that book, really felt stupid?
Every single damn one of them. Just like all the people
just
who
saying.
voted for Biden and now hate him.
I'm just saying. I don't know where the comparison to Biden comes in, but I
Yeah, 'cause
agree.
people voted for him. That liked him in the beginning. And now they're just like, the fuck is going on?
Well, and that works for this next sentence. It says those opinions would change over time. By 2014, even before ESPN's landmark documentary OJ Made in America masterfully re-examined the case through the lens of Simpson's race, a CNN or ORC poll found 53% of black people surveyed said the murder charges against Simpsons were either definitely true or probably true. Yep. Simpson continued officially to maintain his innocence, but he at times appeared to toy with the public's perception of the case. He penned, okay, so this is where they start talking about the book. I read it a minute ago. He penned a book titled If I Did It that initially concealed its run, aimed widespread criticism, but it was published in 2007 under the title If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer.
I just don't understand. If he says that he is innocent, or isn't innocent, or whatever, why would you toy with somebody's emotion if they literally lost somebody close to them? Why would you do that? For pure enjoyment? That's just fucking guilt shit to me.
Maybe because that's because he did it.
I
The
believe
fact
just
that
writing the book and then having all the proceeds go to the victim is a sign of guilt right there.
He didn't have the proceeds go to the victims. It
I thought you
was
said he did.
judge appointed.
Oh, gotcha.
It says after a judge awarded the rights to the Goldman's family.
My bad. I totally
The proceeds going towards the millions of dollars Simpsons had failed to pay in the civil judgment, which was the $33.5 million that he was sued for, that he was deemed liable for their death.
I'm glad he died of cancer.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did live to 76. I mean, Nicole only lived to 35. So, I mean, really, where did karma get who? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he took
Oh.
somebody's life.
Depends on
Ah.
your-
Nicole didn't
Allegedly.
have the opportunity.
Allegedly.
My ass. Stop saying that. No, he killed them.
No,
If he literally-
allegedly.
Travis,
Mhm.
I'm going to come through this mic and I'm going to strangle you.
Well, you can, but for legal purpose, allegedly.
Well, legal purposes can't take my rights away of freedom of speech. He killed him.
in your opinion.
In your opinion.
No, that's a fact. That's a fat fact.
Apparently, she ain't never heard the word slander before.
Right?
If this was the podcast of ours that blew up and somebody heard that and you didn't use the word allegedly or in my opinion, yeah, we'd get our asses sued. And I don't have $33.5 million to give, so I might have to go, to Las Vegas and write a book saying I did it.
Well, according to the family, the making of this podcast might be ruining their privacy anyway. On April 10th, this is a tweet that they had. on the O.J. Simpson 2X that platform. On April 10th, our father, Orenthal James Simpson, succumbed to his battle with cancer. He was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. During this time and transition, his family asks that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. Signed, the Simpson family.
Privacy and grace? Where was that when Nicole and Goldfield, or whatever his last name is, died?
You say that's their fault. They're the ones that wanted to take the shit to televised. Well, you can't blame the family because you can't blame the majority for one person's actions. So if they want grace and anonymity, then they're allowed that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like they're the ones that did it, unless the son did it. Then
Right.
allegedly.
I don't know. I'm up in the air with it. It's a possibility of either or.
And look, okay, so in my opinion, like for real, he did it. I believe he did it. Because the dude was smart. Don't get me wrong.
Was he though?
He's a smart man. He was. He's a football player, actor. He was a smart guy. Do I believe he could have planted some smaller gloves, knowing that might, go in his favor? Maybe. It's possible. Were they even his gloves to begin with? Maybe not. Who knows? I'm just saying, it was never proven one way or the other. And the book could have just been a publicity stunt.
I think you're measuring the word smart wrong, Waffle. Mostly because when you're using it like most normal, everyday people use it, whereas the measurement of someone's smarts or whatever is the knowledge and willingness to adapt to change. So just because somebody knows a lot of stuff, like if they're book smart or whatever, they can be smart in one aspect but be totally dumb in another one, Like you're totally smart in like you're a nurse, right? I don't know. So I don't remember.
She's a preschool.
That's right. I
What
knew
did he do? What, it's preschool, right?
Anyway, you're smart in your
No.
profession, whereas you're not so smart when it comes to celebrity gossip. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you could be just like me and be smart in everything.
All right, go teach my 1-year-old class for a month.
I could.
No.
All right, go ahead.
Unless it involved reading, but...
There is not enough sanitizer.
Oh, there's lots of reading.
I can teach them how to read as long as I don't have to read.
There's not
You
enough
can't teach your
sanitizer
1-year-old
in this
to read.
world for me to go teach kids.
For those of you who don't know, Switch doesn't like kids.
Ooh.
What? I thought Twitch loved children.
Nope, I don't like crotch goblins.
Oh, he does love them.
Nope.
He even gave them a little nickname.
No, they leak.
Look, I'm not a child, and I'll
I'll
leak.
babysit Z for a little while I take a nap.
No.
He would love that. He would cry.
I
That
got
would be fun.
earplugs.
He doesn't like random people anymore. Not really. If I'm holding him, he's okay. But if he's down on the ground, he will crawl to me so fast. There's one time he face planted from crawling so fast, I couldn't help but laugh at him.
You're gonna laugh at your own kid hurting himself? That's crazy.
It was
That's
funny.
hilarious.
That is
The parent
crazy.
was nowhere near him. And he, where he was sitting next to a shelf, standing up next to a shelf, holding himself up. Parent walks in. I'm at the changing table. He crawls around some chairs and some tables all the way to me, face plants. I look at him and I go, "Oh, son." And then I just start laughing. And then the parent goes, "Is he okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's fine."
My
He was fine.
stepdad would always give me that line every time we fell down or hurt. So, come here and I'll help you out.
No.
He just shit a brick whenever I'd have started rolling towards him. Help me out, motherfucker. Like a roly-poly.
That I don't know was not an answer.
Well, no, I don't know isn't an answer for anything, honestly. It's either I'm going to figure it out or give me a minute.
Apparently, I don't know is not a good substitute for I don't have that information. Stop asking me the same stupid question over and over again.
Well, I mean, they basically mean the same thing, except I don't know is just a shorter version.
And more polite, too. So, yeah.
Anyway.
My response to that's always fuck off, but, you know.
Nah, you have to filter myself.
You don't have to.
I'm not good with words. It'll come out like the stuttering cat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it.
And then I start talking physically. So.
Well,
Alright.
I know how to stop myself from talking physically.
Me too. I don't go nowhere.
That's
Same.
true.
I don't.
So,
That's why I don't go nowhere for my pleasure. I don't go nowhere for the safety of others.
this is probably true.
I can't handle stupid.
You deal with me all the time. I am what you call intellectually stupid. That's what I deemed it. Intellectually stupid. I am very smart. I just choose to do stupid things. Is there anything else that y'all would like to add on this whole orange juice? I mean, O.J. Simpson thing. I feel like we covered all the main points. I feel like there's probably other like minute things we probably could have went over, but you know, I don't think we really need to. If anybody has any more things that they want to know about O.J. Simpson, it's not hard to find information on.
Right? Google.
Go to
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
I'm
It's
sorry.
always true.
You gotta Bing them.
What?
Yahoo. Yahoo.
I'm gonna pretend that did not happen.
Could always AOL.
I pretend a lot of things don't happen. Yeah, you got AOL, instant message board. But like I said, I think that's about all that we really need to cover on the situation. Like I said, if anybody else has anything else that they want to go ahead and look up, it just type in O.J. Simpson and you'll find anything that you need.
And you'll learn he played for the
Orange
Buffalo
juice?
Bills. So if you're a fan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Buffalo Bills, you probably already know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd say the San Francisco 49ers, but he only played for them for one season, so.
Nobody likes the 49ers.
Then you know the crazy part about it is, he was one of the best running backs ever. He was a good
Probably
actor.
why he got away with so much.
Well, I don't
Maybe
know
for
if he.
the acting part. If he's a good actor, he probably got away
Well,
just from acting.
I don't know how good of an actor he was. I just know he was an actor. But I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end it because I think, like I said, I think we covered most of everything that we needed to cover. So we did our talking. Now it's time for us to run. Let me give y'all quote of the day. At the end of the day, the only question I will ask myself, did I love enough? Did I laugh enough? And did I make a difference? Now, I don't love very many people. I laugh all the time. And the only difference that I determine that I make is, well, I don't know. But, if you're different at the end of the day because of some stupid stuff that I said, that's your own fault. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Adios, mi amigos.
Don't be a dickhead to your parents.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and post on your fridge. Hasta lasagna, don't get any onion.
We love y'all. This has been the Talk Before You Run podcast. We'll see y'all again next week.